Hello YouTube, this is Mr. TPD01 from Central United States. Wanting to get into making some YouTube videos for a while, but just had other priorities. But I do appreciate everybody that's been doing it over the years. It's been a lot of fun and very informative, especially with like the late Boy Scout, Such 00 and Nothing Fancy, making great quality videos with fantastic editing. This is not going to be one of those. This is my first video ever made, so I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, and I can maybe do an update if people have questions or what have you. What we're staring at here is a historic gun from World War II. It is the Astra 600. It was actually made for Nazi Germany by the request of Nazi Germany after they were very impressed with the Astra 400, in which they had received, I think, about 5,000 of those in around 1941. This was designed in 1943. And actually, the first 10,500 of these delivered to Nazi Germany between May and July of 1944. Then with the invasion of southern France, this gun specifically, this is in the 23,000 serial number range, was part of the second contract that never made it to Nazi Germany, thank goodness. And it was actually ordered to be put in storage by the Spanish Emperor until after the war. So there was actually between 28 and 31,500 of these made in the second contract that never made it to Nazi Germany, that were stored. I believe all of those went to the West German government to be for its police after the war. One other bit of history is that this gun was actually paid for twice. Nazi Germany paid for it, but it was never delivered. And then when Germany went back to go get them after the war, Spain said, hey, not so fast, you're not the same government. So they actually got paid on this gun twice. So this is, again, I said, is in the 23,000 serial number range. So this was made in 1944. They made up to 59,000 of these total through 1945 and just kept on putting them in storage. Some of these actually made it over to Portugal, a few other places that are a little bit more rare finds. Sometimes they're just not as worth as much or not more, but just a little bit different. So you'll see the Spanish proofs. The O in the middle right here means it's made in 1944. Spanish proof, Spanish proof. The gun is blued. It is made. It was made actually better than the 400s, and it's bluing because they're really trying to please the Germans, who, as history shows, that they're into high quality made materials. So anyways, this gun is a pure 9mm Parabellum blowback design. It's a little bit smaller of a gun than the Astra 400, which shot the 9mm Largo and could shoot some of the other smallers, but it would get jammed quite a bit. So the trigger is not blue; it's still stainless, and the slide stop is not blued as well. So it's got wood grips. You can see very tight fit on the slide to the body of the gun. I'm not going to fully take it apart because I like to do it in a small room, because with these two bezels on the front and the spring surrounds over the barrel, everything can go flying, and I don't like to do it in a well-lit larger room like this where I can film. So I will maybe try to show you how the top comes off from the bottom, but I'm not going to take the spring off. So this magazine, most of them were labeled the same number of the gun. This one is blank, and I believe it's probably an aftermarket made. It's still made by Astra, but it's probably not the original. So, but a really pretty piece of history, and I actually like where the Allied powers win. So I'm not a huge collector by any means of Nazi artifacts. I'm not against it at all. but it's just not my thing. So I like the Allied powers, I like winning the war, and I like collecting things that are part of the winning side of the war. I have nothing against collectors of Nazi Germany. If people forget history, history tends to repeat itself, as you've always heard, and I'm a true believer of that. So again, this is made in 1944. They made them up through 1945. I do have a little bit of damage on the gun. Right here is the lanyard hole is dented in. I might have it professionally dented back out, may not. So, but otherwise, just really wanted you to see the gun. I am going to attempt to take off the slide here, and what you do is you pull this back, and then you find the spot where that clicks in and holds. Then you actually take the barrel and twist it, if you can see, and you hear that click. And I'll pull it back, and the whole gun comes apart. So there is a spring that's loaded right in here, and I didn't take that off first, which you should if you're going to completely take it apart. But again, I said I'm not going to do that. So the inside is not blued. Here's the front of the barrel here, and there's the inside of the body of the frame. And just kind of wanted you to see this gun. So I am going to stop the film and put this gun back together, and hopefully you like a little bit of history video here, and look forward to doing more. Thanks.